You could be holding a small copper penny that's worth only a few cents, or one that's worth thousands of dollars. The difference often has nothing to do with the year alone. In this video, we're going to uncover the quiet details on rare wheat pennies that can multiply their value many times over, turning an ordinary coin into something truly special. And be careful, one small mistake, like cleaning or scratching a coin, can erase a big payoff before you even realize what you had. First up, we have the 1955 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that can look so plain and ordinary that most people never think twice about it. At first glance, it feels like simple pocket change, something that has passed through countless hands without notice. But experienced collectors know this date hides one of the widest value gaps in the entire Lincoln cent series. With just one small difference, a single penny can be worth either 1 cent or a six-figure auction result. When collectors talk about a 1955 wheat penny with no mint mark, they are referring to a coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During this time period, Philadelphia cents did not carry any mint mark at all. Because of that, the focus for this coin is not on where it was made, but on what truly matters for this year: condition, originality, and survival. The mid-1950s were some of the busiest years for American coin circulation. Pennies moved constantly through vending machines, cash drawers, purses, and pockets. Copper coins suffered greatly under this kind of daily use, losing their shine, picking up scratches, and slowly turning dull and lifeless. This is exactly why the 1955 no-mint mark penny matters so much today. While millions were produced, very few survived in truly strong condition. Most examples seen now are brown or red-brown, with soft details and heavy marks. Many show worn wheat lines, flat lettering, and darkened surfaces. These are normal results of long circulation, but they also mean most coins from this year are common and low in value. However, everything changes when a true mint state survivor appears. A high-quality 1955 penny with sharp lettering, clear wheat stalk lines, clean fields, and bright original red color stands out immediately. Collectors know they are seeing something special, something that cannot be explained by mintage numbers alone. This is where condition-based rarity takes over. The coin becomes valuable not because of how many were made, but because of how few remain untouched by time. Copper is especially unforgiving. Even small problems can greatly affect value. Tiny carbon spots, light friction, or dull surfaces can stop a coin from reaching the top tier. Because of this, elite examples are fiercely pursued by advanced collectors and registry set competitors. Over the years, demand has grown even stronger as grading standards became stricter and collectors learned to value eye appeal just as much as technical grade. When a top-quality 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny appears, it rarely stays available for long. This is also where confusion often enters the conversation, and it is important to be very clear. The standard 1955 no-mint mark penny is not the same as the famous 1955 double die obverse variety. These are two completely different coins that exist in very different value ranges. The double die shows strong doubling on the date and lettering, making it one of the most famous error coins in U.S. history. That double die variety has produced some of the most dramatic auction moments ever seen for a wheat penny. One outstanding example, graded MS65 Plus Red, was sold by Stax Bowers in March of 2018 for $118,700, fully certified and documented. That sale became a major benchmark and helped cement the coin's legendary status among collectors. By comparison, the standard 1955 no-mint mark penny does not rely on a dramatic error. Its value is driven entirely by preservation, originality, and eye appeal. The difference between these two coins is exactly what makes the year 1955 so fascinating. One date, two very different stories, and a massive gap in value depending on details that are easy to miss. This brings the discussion back to you. Do you own a 1955 wheat penny that deserves a closer look? Have you ever checked the color, surface quality, and sharpness before assuming it was common? And which coin or mint mark should be examined next? These questions are what keep collectors searching, learning, and debating, as truly original survivors become harder to find with each passing year. Next up, we have a coin that quietly connects wartime urgency with America's slow return to normal life. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark is often misunderstood, and many people overlook it completely. At first glance, it seems like just another old copper cent. But collectors know its true value is not based on age alone. Its importance comes from how few examples survived the harsh conditions of the time in truly high-quality condition. In 1944 the United States was deeply involved in World War II. Nearly every part of daily life was affected by the war, including money. Just 1 year earlier, pennies were made from steel to save copper for military use. In 1944 copper returned to coinage, and the Philadelphia Mint began striking Lincoln cents again using a copper alloy. These pennies were made quickly and in huge numbers, with one goal in mind: circulation. No one was thinking about saving them. They were meant to move through a busy, stressed nation that needed small change for everyday transactions. Because Philadelphia cents from this time carry no mint mark, the 1944 penny without a mint mark points directly to that mint. Millions were produced and immediately released into circulation. These coins passed through wartime stores, factories, military towns, and transportation hubs. They were handled roughly, stacked in bags, dropped on hard surfaces and exposed to dirt, moisture and friction. Copper suffered badly under these conditions. Long before collectors paid attention, most examples lost their shine, picked up heavy marks, and slowly turned brown or dull. That history explains why most 1944 no-mint mark wheat pennies look worn today. Many show flat wheat lines on the back, soft details on Lincoln's face, dark in color, and countless contact marks. This is exactly what history predicts. These coins worked hard during a difficult time, and very few were spared. But experienced collectors know something important. When a 1944 penny survives with a sharp strike, full original luster, and bright red color, everything changes. These traits are incredibly rare for a wartime coin. A true high-grade example stands out immediately. Crisp lettering, strong wheat stalk lines, clear hair detail, and glowing cartwheel luster create a look that feels almost impossible for a coin that lived through World War II. That visual impact is what stops collectors in their tracks. This coin is defined by condition-based rarity. While millions were made, only a tiny fraction survived in top mint state condition. As the grade rises, the number of known examples drops sharply. Population reports show that at the highest levels, competition becomes intense. Collectors are not chasing mintage numbers. They are chasing survival against history itself. Over time, demand for elite 1944 no-mint mark pennies has grown stronger. Registry set competition, tighter grading standards, and a deeper understanding of originality have all pushed values higher. Once a truly special example enters a strong collection, it may not appear again for many years. That scarcity creates urgency whenever one finally comes up for public sale. At this point, clarity is very important. The year 1944 is also famous for one of the most dramatic mint errors in U.S. coin history, and confusing the two coins can lead to major misunderstandings. The standard 1944 no-mint mark penny is made of copper. A completely different and extremely rare coin exists from this year as well, the 1944 steel wheat penny error. Here are the verified facts. In 2018, a standard copper 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny graded PCGS MS68 red sold through Heritage Auctions for $42,600. That price reflects elite preservation, original color, and extreme rarity at the top of the condition scale. By comparison, the legendary 1944 steel wheat penny with no mint mark sold through the same auction house in 2021 for an astonishing $208,000. That single detail, steel instead of copper, created a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars. That contrast is exactly why the 1944 wheat penny continues to captivate collectors. One date holds two very different stories, separated by metal, condition, and survival. It also teaches an important lesson. You cannot judge a coin by date alone. You must look closely at strike quality, color, surface condition, and metal type. Now the conversation turns to you. Which wheat penny do you own? Have you ever checked beyond the year and mint mark? And which coin should be explored next? These questions are what keep the collector discussion alive, growing, and always searching for the next overlooked survivor. Next up we have a coin that has quietly tested collectors for more than a century, the 1916 Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, it seems like any other early Lincoln cent. Its copper tone is familiar, and most casual collectors overlook it entirely. Yet those who understand the subtle balance between rarity and condition know why this coin has become one of the most fiercely sought after pieces in the entire wheat penny series. The year 1916 came at a pivotal moment in American history. The United States was preparing for involvement in World War I, and the San Francisco Mint was under intense pressure to meet rising coinage demands. This pressure led to lower overall production and inconsistent striking quality. Many coins left the mint with weak details, and few survived the wear and tear of circulation intact. Over time, these factors created the stage for a coin whose importance would only grow as collectors began to recognize its potential. What makes the 1916s wheat penny special today is not just its age or the San Francisco Mint mark, but the reality that most examples were used heavily in everyday commerce. They passed through pockets, cash drawers, and tills, slowly wearing away the fine details long before anyone thought to preserve them. This naturally raises an important question for collectors. Have you ever truly examined the strike and surfaces on the coins you already own? While an average 1916s looks similar to other early Lincoln cents, closer inspection shows flat wheat lines, weak portrait details, and soft hair features dominating most survivors, making sharply struck examples instantly noticeable. To experienced collectors, condition is the dividing line between a common coin and a true numismatic prize. Elite examples of the 1916s exist in a completely different world where full separation of Lincoln's hair strands, crisp beard definition, strong wheat stalk lines, bright original copper color, and undisturbed mint luster come together to create a visual impact that feels almost impossible for a coin that circulated during World War I. It is here that collectors ask themselves, can one small overlooked detail truly change a coin's value? For this penny, the answer is absolutely yes. Condition-based rarity defines the 1916s more than almost any other wheat penny. As grades rise into the upper mint state range, the population of surviving coins drops dramatically. Only a tiny handful exist that can satisfy registry-set competitors and advanced collectors who demand perfection. This scarcity naturally fuels intense competition whenever a top example surfaces. Over decades, collector demand has steadily increased, driven by the desire to complete early Lincoln cent sets with San Francisco issues, the prestige of owning a high-grade survivor from a weakly struck year, and the simple fact that no new examples will ever enter the market. Every time a premium 1916s changes hands, collectors compete fiercely for the same limited supply. This teaches an important lesson: rarity is not only about mintage numbers, but about how many coins survived with the right combination of strike quality, surface preservation, and eye appeal. Condition alone can create massive value over time, and the 1916s Lincoln wheat penny is a perfect example of that principle in action. For those who stayed until the end, the reward is in the verified auction results. A top-grade 1916s Lincoln wheat penny sold through Heritage Auctions in 2013 for $118,300. That remains the confirmed record, yet specialists believe an even finer example, with extraordinary color and eye appeal, could realistically reach $155,000 or more if the right bidders meet at a future auction. This is why this coin continues to captivate collectors today. Now the conversation turns to you. Do you own a wheat penny that deserves a closer look? Which year or mint mark should be examined next? And do you believe demand for elite early Lincoln cents like the 1916s will continue to climb as truly exceptional examples become harder to find? Your experiences and opinions are what keep this collector discussion alive and growing. Next up we have the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, a coin that might seem like a simple end-of-war keepsake at first glance. Most people glance at it and assume it is ordinary pocket change. Yet this Philadelphia cent hides one of the strongest condition-based value stories in the entire Lincoln series. For collectors, survival alone can transform an everyday coin into a high-value prize. The year 1945 marked the closing chapter of World War II, and the Philadelphia Mint was working at full speed to produce Lincoln cents for a nation returning to normal commerce. These coins were made to circulate quickly, not to be stored in collections. That is what makes this penny special today, not just the date, but the fact that nearly every example was immediately put into circulation, enduring friction, contact marks, and poor storage. Over decades, most coins lost their original surfaces before collectors ever started preserving modern-era cents seriously. Most surviving 1945 no-mint mark pennies tell that story clearly. The wheat lines on the reverse are often flattened. Lincoln's portrait is softened. The color is usually a muted brown, with countless small marks from circulation. Yet seasoned collectors know that the moment a coin survives with crisp lettering, strong strike detail, and original red luster, it becomes something extraordinary. That raises an important question. Have you ever examined your coins beyond the date to see what truly survived? Elite examples of this coin stand apart immediately. Sharp hair details on Lincoln, bold wheat stalk lines, clean fields, and vibrant cartwheel luster are almost unbelievable for a coin produced during wartime pressure. That visual impact is what draws serious attention from collectors. Even a coin that appears ordinary at first glance can command high interest if it retains these qualities. Condition-based rarity defines the 1945 no-mint mark more than nearly any other late wheat penny. Millions were struck, but at the top mint state levels, the population collapses dramatically. Only a tiny number of coins exist that can satisfy registry set collectors seeking the finest examples. This date represents the ultimate preservation challenge, rewarding patience, knowledge, and the ability to recognize originality instantly. Competition has grown steadily over time. Grading standards have tightened, and collectors now value eye appeal as much as numerical grade. More people are building high-grade wheat penny sets, increasing demand for exceptional 1945 no-mint mark pennies. Once a truly elite example enters a strong collection, it often disappears from the public market for years. That scarcity amplifies urgency when another piece finally appears. Every premium sale reinforces the same lesson: mintage numbers do not equal availability at the top. Even small details, color quality, surface preservation, or strike sharpness can completely change a coin's destiny. That leads to an important collector question: do you believe condition alone can create massive value, even for dates most people overlook? For those who stayed until the end, here is the verified peak result: a 1945 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny graded MS68 red by PCGS sold through Heritage Auctions in 2014 for $34,800. While that remains the confirmed high, experts believe that an even finer example with extraordinary eye appeal could realistically exceed $60,000 if two determined registry collectors meet at auction. This quiet Philadelphia wheat penny continues to earn serious respect because it proves that careful preservation, originality, and condition are what drive collector value. Now the conversation turns to you. Which wheat penny do you own? Which year or mint mark deserves a closer look? And do you think demand for elite condition Lincoln cents like the 1945 no-mint mark will continue to rise as truly original survivors become harder to find? Your perspective is what keeps this collector discussion alive and growing. Next up we have a coin that almost everyone has seen but very few truly understand. The 1951 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark looks so familiar that even many collectors pass it by without a second thought. It feels ordinary, common, and easy to overlook. Yet this quiet Philadelphia cent hides one of the strongest condition-based value stories in the entire Lincoln series, where simple survival can turn an everyday penny into a six-figure prize. The year 1951 came during a time of heavy post-war activity in the United States. Factories were running at full speed, businesses were booming, and Americans were spending money again after years of wartime limits. Lincoln cents were needed everywhere, and they were struck in enormous numbers to keep up with demand. At the Philadelphia Mint, speed mattered far more than perfection. These pennies were made to be spent immediately, not saved for the future. Because Philadelphia coins from this era carried no mint mark, the absence of a letter tells collectors exactly where this coin was made. But location alone is not what gives this penny its importance today. What truly matters is what happened after it left the mint. These coins entered non-stop circulation, moving through cash registers, pockets, jars, and drawers for decades. Copper is a fragile metal when it comes to surface quality, and years of handling slowly erased the features collectors now value most. That is why the 1951 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is misunderstood. Millions were struck, but very few escaped with their original surfaces intact. Fingerprints, friction, moisture, and poor storage quietly did their damage long before collectors cared. Most examples seen today show the same story. The color is usually dull brown. The wheat lines on the reverse are flat or weak. Lincoln's portrait often looks soft, with little detail left in the hair or cheek. But experienced collectors know there is another side to this story. When a 1951 penny appears with sharp strike detail, clean open fields, and strong original red color, it immediately separates itself from the crowd. These coins look different the moment you see them. The lettering is crisp. The wheat stalks are bold and complete. Lincoln's hair shows clear detail. And the surface flashes with bright cartwheel luster that feels almost impossible for a coin that circulated during the early 1950s. This is where an important question comes in. Have you ever examined your coins this closely before deciding they were common? Many people never look past the date. But for this penny, condition changes everything. A truly elite example stands out so clearly that seasoned collectors stop, study, and prepare to bid aggressively when one appears. Condition-based rarity defines the 1951 no-mint mark more than almost any other wheat penny. As grades move higher into the upper mint state levels, population numbers drop sharply. At the very top, only a small handful of coins exist. These few examples are the only ones capable of satisfying registry set collectors who compete for the finest known coins. When supply is that limited, competition becomes intense. Collectors chase this date because it represents a true preservation challenge. Finding one requires patience, experience, and a trained eye for originality. Over time, demand has grown as grading standards have become stricter and eye appeal has become just as important as the grade number on the holder. Collectors have learned that many so-called common wheat pennies are actually rare once condition is taken into account. Once a top-tier 1951 no-mint mark penny enters a strong collection, it often disappears from the market for many years. That long absence only increases excitement and competition when another example finally appears. Every major sale sends the same message. High mintage does not mean high availability at the top end. Small details like color quality, surface cleanliness, and strike strength can change everything. Now let's talk about real results. The highest verified auction price for a standard 1951 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny occurred in 2012 when a PCGS-graded MS67 Plus red example sold through Heritage Auctions for $19,450. That result confirmed just how powerful condition alone can be. Specialists believe that if an even finer example were to appear, with extraordinary eye appeal and nearly flawless surfaces, it could realistically exceed $35,000 if two determined registry collectors compete head-to-head. That is why this quiet Philadelphia wheat penny continues to earn serious respect. It proves that value is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. Now the conversation turns to you. Which wheat penny do you own? Which year or mint mark should be examined next? And do you believe demand for elite condition Lincoln cents like the 1951 no-mint mark will keep rising as truly original survivors become harder to find? Your thoughts are what keep this collector discussion alive and growing. Now we move to a coin that many people overlook, but serious collectors watch very closely. The 1952 Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark may not shout for attention, but it carries a quiet power that has surprised the coin world more than once. This penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint during a time when America was settling into a new era. World War II was over, the economy was growing, and everyday coins were moving through millions of hands. Because of that, most people never thought twice about saving a 1952 penny. And that's exactly why the right examples are so hard to find today. When you first look at a 1952 S wheat penny in fine to extra fine condition, it feels honest and well used, but not worn out. Lincoln's portrait still shows clear shape. The hair details are soft but visible. The cheek and jawline remain defined, showing smooth, even wear instead of damage. The lettering around the rim is readable and balanced, a sign the coin lived a long life without abuse. Flip the coin over and the wheat stalks tell the same story. The lines in the wheat are worn but still present. The words 1 cent and United States of America stand out clearly. This is the kind of condition collectors respect because it shows real circulation while preserving the coin's character. Now here's where things get interesting. The S mint mark on a 1952 wheat penny matters. San Francisco coins from this era were often struck in smaller numbers than their Philadelphia counterparts, and many were heavily circulated in the western states. That means fewer survived in collectible condition, and even fewer escaped major damage. But scarcity alone isn't the full story. The early 1950s were a time when mint equipment was aging, dies were reused longer than intended, and quality control wasn't perfect. Because of that, some 1952 S wheat pennies showed doubling in the lettering or date, die cracks, weak strikes, or misaligned designs. These errors are not always obvious, which is why many slipped through unnoticed for decades. Collectors especially prize examples where the mint mark itself shows unusual characteristics, such as slight doubling, placement irregularities, or weak impressions. These small details can turn an ordinary penny into something far more valuable. In average circulated condition, a 1952's weak penny carries a modest premium. But in fine or extra fine condition, values rise quickly. Add a verified mint error or strong eye appeal, and prices can jump into the thousands of dollars. High-grade examples with confirmed varieties have sold for tens of thousands, especially when certified by trusted grading services. And then there are the rare standouts. A small number of exceptional 1952's weak pennies, with sharp strikes, strong detail, and dramatic errors, have shocked collectors at auction. These coins prove that even a date many people ignore can produce results that feel unbelievable. What makes the 1952's weak penny so dangerous to overlook is how ordinary it appears. No flashy date. No dramatic color. No immediate clue. It blends in with countless other old pennies, waiting for the right person to look closer. So if you have a 1952 Lincoln weak penny with an S mint mark, don't dismiss it. Study the date. Examine the mint mark. Look closely at the lettering and wheat lines. Small differences can mean everything. Because sometimes, the coins that look the quietest are the ones hiding the biggest. Next up is a coin that almost everyone thinks they understand, yet very few truly appreciate. The 1957 Lincoln wheat penny with the D mint mark, even in circulated condition, has quietly earned a place among the most talked about late wheat era cents in modern collecting. At first glance, a 1957 D wheat penny looks familiar, even ordinary. Millions of Americans handled these coins during the final years of the wheat penny series. They were spent on groceries, newspapers, and bus fares. Because of that, many people still believe every 1957 penny is common and worth very little. But that belief has caused some truly valuable coins to be overlooked for decades. This penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a time of major change in the United States. The country was moving forward after World War II, industry was booming, and the U.S. Mint was producing coins at a rapid pace to meet demand. High-speed production created efficiency, but it also created opportunity. And opportunity at the Mint often leads to mistakes. When you examine a 1957 D wheat penny in circulated condition, the first thing you notice is honest wear. Lincoln's portrait is softened but still clear. The outline of his hair remains visible, especially above the ear and along the back of the head. His cheek and jawline show smooth wear, not damage, which tells collectors the coin circulated naturally rather than being mistreated. The word Liberty is readable, and the date remains strong. Even the D mint mark, though worn, is still clearly present beneath the date. Turn the coin over, and the wheat stalks tell the same story. The lines in the wheat are worn but not flat. The words 1 cent and United States of America remain bold enough to read without strain. This is classic circulated condition, the kind many collectors actually prefer because it reflects real history and real use. Now here is where the story becomes far more exciting. The 1957 D wheat penny was produced in very large numbers, but high mintage does not mean high survival in collectible condition. Most were used hard. Many were damaged, cleaned, or lost. And more importantly, only a tiny fraction were struck with the specific errors and die varieties that collectors now chase aggressively. During 1957 the Denver Mint was under heavy production pressure. Dies were reused longer than intended. Equipment was pushed to its limits. As a result, several important error types appeared. Some 1957 D wheat pennies show strong double dies, most noticeable in the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust. Others display die cracks, cuds, or misaligned strikes that are dramatic enough to catch the trained eye. Even in circulated condition, these errors do not disappear. In fact, wear can sometimes make them easier to spot. A bold double date or thickened lettering can stand out clearly against a worn surface. That is why circulated 1957 D pennies have become a major focus for error collectors in recent years. There are also documented examples of off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and wrong planchet errors from this year. These are not common, and when they appear, collectors move quickly. A circulated 1957 D penny with a major visible error can command thousands of dollars, even without high-grade surfaces. Now let's talk about the dollar values, because this is where many people are shocked. In normal circulated condition with no special traits, a 1957 D wheat penny may only be worth a modest premium. But once verified errors enter the picture, values rise fast. A strong double die example can sell for $2,000 to $10,000 depending on clarity and certification. Coins with dramatic die breaks or major off-center strikes regularly reach $15,000 to $30,000 even when worn. Then there are the rare elite examples. Certain 1957 D wheat pennies with multiple errors, exceptional strike characteristics, or unusual metal composition have crossed major auction blocks for $180,000 and more. In a few documented cases involving extraordinary error combinations and strong eye appeal, prices have pushed far beyond that, stunning even experienced numismatists. Collectors understand that these coins represent the final chapter of the wheat penny era. Just 2 years later, the reverse design would change forever. That gives the 1957 D wheat penny a special place in American coin history. It stands at the edge between tradition and transition, and coins from these final years are studied closely. Another reason collectors prize circulated examples is connection. Many people alive today remember wheat pennies in circulation. They remember finding them in pocket change. That emotional connection adds demand, especially for coins that still show their age honestly. What makes the 1957 D wheat penny truly dangerous to overlook is how easily it blends in. It looks like every other old penny. There's no dramatic color. No unusual design. No obvious signal of rarity. And that is exactly why valuable examples sat unnoticed in jars, boxes, and collections for decades. Even today, new discoveries are being made. Collectors continue to find rare 1957 D errors in inherited collections, old coin albums, and unsorted rolls. Some of the most valuable examples found in recent years were not in perfect condition. They were circulated coins, just like this one, that happened to carry the right mistake. So if you own a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark, even in circulated condition, don't dismiss it. Look closely at the date. Examine the mint mark. Study the lettering for doubling. Check the rims for strange thickness or missing metal. Small details can mean massive differences in value. Because sometimes, the coins we used the most are the ones that end up worth the most. And as we move deeper into this list, the pennies only get rarer, the stories grow bigger, and the dollar values climb into territory that most people never expect from a single cent.